So let's talk about pricing.
Yeah.
Your own CFO said it was counterintuitive. Help me understand it. Capacity's down, prices are flat. What's going on?
Difficult to understand it ourselves. Like we've come off 2 summers of 20% plus price increases. So we thought pricing this year would be softer. We thought up 5 to 10. At the moment, it looks like it's flat to 5% through the summer peak. I think there's just a bit of consumer resistance out there. Capacity is constrained in Europe. We thought that would lead to stronger pricing. Easter was early. That means that April, May, June is a little bit softer. We still see pricing up through the peak, July, August, September. We're constrained because of Boeing delivery delays. But I think pricing is going to be softer than we had originally expected this summer. Good for consumers, not necessarily quite so good for shareholders, but then we've launched a 700 million share buyback today, so that'll keep shareholders quiet while we look after consumers all summer long.
Just to be clear, the trend for summer then, soft right now, but you do expect prices to increase, fares to increase as the summer progresses?
Yeah, there's no doubt in the April, May, June quarter, pricing is down on the prior year. Now, we had a full Easter in April. This year, we'd only half an Easter there. Pricing still looks, but it's up small. It's very weak at 0 to 5% through July, August, September. We've only sold about 40% of the seats in that quarter, so it could still be up slightly higher. It could be lower. We're reasonably relaxed. We have costs well under control. We've hedged our fuel forward for the next year. We've saved $450 million on fuel for the next 12 months. So we can use that to stimulate pricing. And when we've done some price stimulation in recent weeks, we've seen very strong responses for consumers. So I think consumers are there. They're a little bit nervous. Spending is weak. But when you give them a price incentive, the volumes are very strong.
Does this take some of the pressure off the 23 deliveries of Boeing jets that you're waiting for that could be delayed? Because ultimately, capacity is less of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, Lisa. I mean, I would prefer to take the aircraft. We could fill those aircraft through the peaks. If through July, August, September, we think travel will be strong, pricing will be strong. We regret the fact that we'll be 20 aircraft short. We've crewed up, so we have all the pilots and the cabin crew. Our labour will be a little bit higher in that second quarter, but volumes lower. We've had to pare back our full year traffic forecast this year from 205 million to about 200 million passengers. So it doesn't really help, because we're geared up for the growth, and we're just going to be Boeing going to leave us 20 aircraft short.
You've always been known for being incredibly cost conscious, trying to bring a lower cost to the consumer. Are you trying to get a deal on some of these Boeing jets? Are you looking to maybe buy some from others, or say if you want to shift to Airbus, that's fine. I'll take your MAX 737 jet.
Well, we've already said when United came out with those stupid comments earlier in the year, we're not going to take those MAX 10s or MAX aircraft. We'll take them. If you don't want them, we'll take them.
Did
of course. Yeah, no. They kind of they mumbled and then decided they were going to take them anyway. Look, aircraft deliveries are incredibly tight. Airbus and Boeing are running way behind on their deliveries. There's a real capacity constraint story in Europe for the next couple of summers. Manufacturers are delayed. Airbus fleet is 20% of the Airbus fleet is grounded because of the Pratt & Whitney engine issue, and Europe is an Airbus market. So capacity is constrained. Why it's a little bit surprising, pricing is soft this summer. We thought pricing would be a little bit stronger because of those capacity constraints. But hey, if the consumers are a little bit more price conscious, if they're a little bit more price sensitive, we'll stimulate. It's good for our business because we're the lowest price provider.
Michael, what are you hearing from Boeing at the moment? Because in the past you said you thought the deliveries could slip further. How much further are we talking?
Well, Anne-Marie, good question. I think two things. One, we're 20 aircraft behind. We're supposed to get 59 aircraft for this summer. We're only going to get 39 at best. But we do see signs of improvement in recent weeks. I think Stephanie Pope and the new team in Seattle are doing a good job. They're taking fuselages are not being taken from Wichita unless they're completely defect-free. But we're not yet seeing a speed up in the turnaround times in Seattle. They're still taking 12, 14 weeks to produce an aircraft, whereas it should really be 8 to 10. Now, 2 weeks ago, they sent us an update. We were expecting 2 deliveries in June, 3 in July. We're getting 2 in June. It looks like 7 in July. So we're beginning to see the situation improve, but it's very small baby steps. We're still going to take aircraft through August, September and October, even though we can't fly them during those months. We think we'll get all 59 aircraft in this calendar year. And then the big issue with us at Boeing is, will we get the 29 aircraft deliveries you're contracted to deliver us between January and April of 2025. So I think they're making small steps, little progress, but we don't want to see any further bad news.
If that's your big question going into next year, then how do you weigh the impact, and what does that mean for your business for 2025?
I think at the moment it means for 2020, for FY20, March 25, we're going to be doing 200 million passengers instead of 205 million. For March 26, or summer 25, we think we can step that up. I think we'll get most of those aircraft from Boeing, and then we'd like to see ourselves grow to probably about 215 million passengers through summer 25 into March 26. We think there'll be a strong rebound. We still think pricing will be reasonably robust across Europe because capacity is going to be constrained. Airbus and Boeing can't deliver any additional aircraft. The engine issue is a huge problem for the Airbus fleet. You know, they've been talking about 350 days to repair these engines. We think it's going to be 500 days. So a lot of Airbus aircraft are going to be grounded for the next 2 or 3 years.
How much do you see, just going back to this idea of pricing power, and that we're surprised that there's not greater degree of pricing power given some of the constraints with deliveries? How much is this sort of the end of the boom that we saw in the travel, and that people are constrained by the fact that, you know, hotel prices have tripled? You can see that any restaurant you go to is that much more expensive. Anytime you travel, I mean, it's incredibly expensive. So how much have we sort of reached the tipping point where we're going back to something that's pre-pandemic and not this you can work anywhere and travel all the time kind of mentality?
I mean, I don't think we've reached that. I think Europe is a fundamentally different market to the US. North America, you've seen a lot of travel price inflation in the last couple of years. You know, the average fare Southwest charged last year was $170. The average fare in Ryanair across Europe was 48 euros. So there's still a bit to go in Europe, but there's no doubt in my mind that the European consumer is cutting spend, is careful, they're cautious, they want price stimulation. We go out with seat sales, we sell out straight away. But, you know, we have higher interest rates, government's cutting back on inflation. I think consumers are just a little bit nervous there at the moment. I don't think that's a longer term trend. I think, you know, interest rates will fall, if not this year, through into next year. I think we will see some rebound in consumer spending. But I think they will protect travel. The experiential spend will continue. It'll just trend down to the lowest cost provider, which in Europe is Ryanair.
Is this a time to get more aggressive and go after market share in certain geographies?
I would love to. If I could get more aircraft out of Boeing, I'd be on it like a rash. We are taking more market share, though, at the moment in Central and Eastern Europe. Wizz have grounded 45 aircraft. Nobody else is expanding in Europe. So we are winning huge amounts of market share, despite the fact that our own capacity growth is constrained by Boeing delivery delays. So we're taking market share. I think that will continue. But if I could get more aircraft, I would try and grow faster at the moment, albeit at the cost of lower airfares.
You've got a good read on the consumer. Do they care what plane they fly on?
No. I mean, most of them don't know what plane they're flying on. I don't know what plane I'm flying on most of the time.
Do you not check?
No. I mean, if you look at whether it's the Boeing NGs, the Boeing Max, I mean, I prefer to fly in a Boeing Max aircraft only because it's materially quieter, and I know that plane is burning about 16% less fuel than the older fuel guzzly 737 NGs. Boeing are making great aircraft. They are getting a lot of unfair publicity in the last 12 months.
You think so?
You know, a nose wheel falls off an
What's been unfair about it?
A nose wheel falls off an Air Canada aircraft, or an engine cowl comes off a Southwest, and it's a Boeing aircraft.
Slightly concerning, no?
Yeah, but it's a maintenance issue for those airlines. It's not fundamentally a 737 issue. The 737 is a great airplane. They're making phenomenal new engines. I mean, the engine technology is being transformed. We can't wait to get the MAX 10s. We're due to get the first of them in 2017. They'll carry 20% more passengers, but burn 20% less fuel. So not only will it transform our economics, but it will make us a much better, more greener, cleaner airline to fly on.